I didn't know Sheldon Epps. I certainly knew who he was, and I've had 4 or 5 shows tour through here. Some I didn't even know until I saw the wall backstage, which was fun to realize that. He called me up and wanted, and he said, would you consider Into the Woods? And I listened to it, and I hadn't seen it since, the 3 times I saw it originally on Broadway, and it slayed me, absolutely destroyed me. And I thought, no, I want to be in the room with this for deeply personal reasons, the fantasies that sometimes fuel a job of going to New York, or, that's not about this. This is about the next 2 weeks we're going to spend in this room together. And that was the most important thing to me, to find like-minded people, the best cast I could find, and I cannot imagine a better group of people than the ladies and gentlemen sitting here. So thank you very much for that, and for the 2 weeks we're about to have, which is going to be very aggressive, as you can imagine, with this material. 2 weeks from today, we're on stage. We will be. Yes, we will. I think the thing that kicked me in the gut the most was Children Will Listen, and just how relevant that song is today, and how important it is to really embrace that idea. And so many people will say, oh, of course, but they're not. If you think of what young people are being exposed to right now on television in the last couple of months, it's, from my point of view, deeply shameful that we're letting that happen. We're not going to turn that around, or turn much of anything around, other than a couple of hours of hopefully moving art in a theater, but the fact that we're going to try is important, I think. I wanted to bracket the show with some kind of contemporary feel that mandated, in a way, the audience to identify themselves up there. So I think it's 12 people. We'll start the show in contemporary black clothing. And we're not going to have signs on you, but you'll know that looks like a soccer mom, that's a banker, whatever. And this is before any music is played. And we're in a black void. Those 12 people will walk down stage as this huge costume rack comes in, very, very fanciful. And on it will be clearly costumes that we all would want to maybe put on. There'll be a recognizable Snow White maybe come off. There'll be certainly a Cinderella's gown, and there'll be a Prince Charming coat. And those clothes will be taken off, and those people will disperse as the rack goes out, and a projected sign, Once Upon a Time, will appear as our woodsmen, our 4 woodsmen who we're adding to this show, will usher those 3 huge pallets on, which will indicate Cinderella's home, the baker and the baker's wife, and Jack and his mother. These guys in the show are going to also move and dance and redefine the space in the show with these 4 trees behind you. They're actual real trees. They're painted gold at the moment. There's 2 sets of them. The first act, they're in full autumnal bloom. The second act, they're dead and barren, which is where we have to start the second act. Just, the flip side of where we think these people are going to end up. So once we set up our show, we play it completely naturalistically and full on, without any other interruption of the real world other than what the audience will bring to it, until the end, once the giant is felled and the 4 last standing people in the apocalypse are still there. And Emily will come out, our witch, in a beautiful black dress that isn't really part of the witch's story, and yet it is, but it's also equal parts Emily Skinner coming at us singing Children Will Listen. And when we get into that key change, 12 of the principals come out holding the hands of their children. So the little girl that you'll be bringing out will be wearing an exact Broadway replica of that dress that you've been wearing all night. We're spending all the money on these kids' clothes. I don't want Halloween. I wanted to go, they are doing their own Broadway version. So Red Riding Hood will have her daughter, and Jack will have his son, and some of them will be dying to come down stage, and some will hide behind their leg. But when we get into the bridge of the song, Charlie, sing that music. That was fearful.
Go deep to the struggle that you may lose.
Right.
The
kids move down stage and own it. They perform that. So in equal measure, you as parents are like, oh my God, I just let this kid go, and how do I do that? And what's going to happen to her? Because I don't know this firsthand, but the 6-year-old girl who wants to be Cinderella, you can't tell her what might happen. You can't say Prince Charming to beware of that. You know, she got to figure it out for herself. So the kids go down there and basically do their own little pantomime of our show during that bridge section, and then you guys come back singing. But that's how we end the show. And the idea came to me immediately, and I thought, I have to do this. And I said, if you want me to do this, you've got to give me those 12 kids. And there's a school here. There's a school, a fantastic school that a casting director from New York, Dave Clemens, now runs, which was cool. These kids came in, and every one of them had memorized that tricky, tricky rhythmic piece of music and nailed it. And so we've got 12 great kids who are going to join us. In addition to that, we've got our woodsman and a complete full complement of the cast like it was done on Broadway. We have the same orchestration that was done on Broadway. So it's terrific.